Most people are rolling the dice with character consistency in Midjourney, hoping they'll get lucky. But there's actually a scientific approach that works every single time. And today I'm going to show you the Midjourney 7 game changer that most people are completely missing when creating characters. Here's what someone said can't be done. Create a character like this one and keep her looking the same through multiple expressions, poses, and most of all, use cases. It all starts with one face, really. Then you can use that face to build a library of other faces. Then you can use what you've built to create other situations, poses, and scenes. Next, you can try playing with costumes and different looks, even making things more dramatic by giving your character something to do. Maybe she's in battle. Maybe she's hanging out with her pet wolves. Or pursuing hobbies like dark magic. You want to keep your character consistent throughout the build. And if learning this sounds like your cup of tea, then stay tuned as we're going to go over this step by step. But first, we need a base sorceress character. And for you, I want to think about this. This doesn't have to be a sorceress. It could be any character that you want to build. You just have to decide on what you want to build in advance. Don't go to Midjourney and just roll the dice on random luck creating a character. Jot down some ideas first. Basic attributes for the character. You know, what they look like, hair color, all that stuff. Clothing, what are they wearing? Also, some ideas about, is this a graphic illustration? Is this photography? Is this some sort of comic book style? Figure out what you want. Here's our prompt that I want to show you, and of course, for you, it could be anything. We start off with description, a language about what we want. We want a 50-year-old mystical sorceress with flowing auburn hair, wearing green robes, and then we talk about the art. It's a character study. We want a headshot. We want to do portrait photography. One of the greatest prompts you can use with people is this phrase, expressive gaze. That adds a lot of stuff to it. It's also a medium shot with professional lighting and color balance. And then we've got some parameters here. Our variety is set to 15. Our aspect ratio is 5:6. And our stylized, which is the amount of creativity, is set to 200. And off the bat, we get some results. So we get this fashion model one that doesn't work. We get this gal, which is okay. We get this one, which I don't really like, but we get this one. So even though this isn't the prettiest, right? I think this is perfect for this character because this looks like maybe a sorceress. She's got red hair and it just kind of has a real look to it, and I really like it. So we're going to use this one throughout our build here. But here's where most people give up, is that they only create one image and they're done. We want to create more results that's really going to match what we have in our intent, and let me walk you through that. What we need to do, of course, is to use our main image that we just created as an Omni Reference. You can see right there, that's the section that you're going to put that in. And this is the same prompt that we used. But when we do this, what happens is we're going to create a lot of images that look just like this woman. So an Omni Reference is your new best friend. You want to be using this, especially if you're trying to create consistent characters. We want to use a passport photo style image. We don't want a big full body thing. We don't want multiple characters. We want one person, passport photo. That's going to work best for this type of work. And then also, as you can see my parameter here, we're using a stylize of 80, okay? And that's keeping that creativity down lower, which means don't create a lot of craziness. Keep it kind of low. It's under the default of 100. And then we're also using a higher omni weight, which is above 100, which is the default also, and we're got it at 200. Now these are where we're starting. You know, maybe for you, you might have to switch these up, but I like when I'm doing any character work this is where I usually start. And so with this, we can create a lot of characters, right? You're going to want to generate many different images of your character. And here we're going to use additive prompting, and we're going to switch some stuff out to get different facial expressions, whether she's smiling or laughing or yelling or frowning or making a weird face. We want that stuff. And frankly, we want to create dozens and dozens and dozens of these images because not all of them are going to be perfect. So have some fun with this. And it all starts with one face, which is the one right there in the upper left. We start with that, and then we build other faces. And frankly, when we build a library, we're going to crop these down to just the face. And when we build our characters later, that's what we're going to use for the Omni Reference. So I've got 8 here, but what we want more than anything is we want to create a couple dozen of these. So we've got all these use cases for our character already in advance, ready to go. So the secret sauce for great character consistency, in my view, is to load all of this stuff up in a mood board specific for your character. And if you've got multiple characters, you want to create multiple mood boards, one for each. You can also have mood boards for backgrounds, for objects, for animals, or maybe some sort of art aesthetic that you want. Here's where you go for that in the mood board section. You can see over on the left-hand side, that's what's highlighted there. And you can see my Tamaris the Crimson Seer mood board with all those faces. So creating a mood board is easy. Just click the new mood board button that's right there on the right with a little circle with the plus sign. And let me tell you, many creatives have a dizzying array of mood boards, all for different use cases. And as you can see in this shot, we have our Tamaris the Crimson Seer mood board right there. That's for our character. But there's also other mood boards for specific art styles, patterns, textures, or ideas. And we'll use these sometimes when we want to. But here's a warning. Sometimes, I'm just letting you know, I forget to turn off the mood board. Does this happen to you? So it pays to double check if you're working with one and then you're going to do a different project. Sometimes you keep that mood board on and now everything looks weird. So make sure you're double checking that your mood board is on or off. So here's inside that mood board of Tamaris the Crimson Seer. And there are about 80 or so shots here. So they're different poses, different angles, different aspect ratios, just different looks. And we're training the mood board for Midjourney on what Tamaris looks like for a character and also how we want to realize the image. Now that we've got a basic setup for Tamaris, we can start creating images with her in action, and this is easier than you think. So let's walk you through it. Here's an image that was created with this prompt. This is the prompt we used. And in the prompt, you can see that some of the text is blue and some of it is in black. And it's for educational purposes here in the next couple slides. I've made the different colors to highlight what stays virtually the same in all the shots. And then the ones that we're switching out, you'll see the different color. Here in blue, everything that's going to stay the same on all the shots is what's in blue. Everything in black is what we're changing. And here you can see her head tilted down, looking up at the viewer, angry, is exactly that. And here's where that runs. It's from this Omni Reference. So this is one of our cropped photos that we upgraded to. And you can see that we've got an Omni weight down at the bottom of 200 and our stylize is at 80, just like we're talking about. So this allows us to get this kind of pissed off look for Tamaris, and you know she's about to bring some heat. Now, here's her in an action pose. We use this image for the Omni Reference. This is the one with her as a furrowed brow. We just used that a minute ago. But what changed is all the different words. These are the ones that are in yellow here. This is what really makes this image work. And you'll also notice down at the bottom, we're using an SREF code, and using an SREF code combined with a mood board is a great way to get a consistent art look for what you're creating. And how this was generated was with that last image, we used that power search technique that we identified in a previous video. Please make sure you watch that. It's right there in the corner there. And to find an sref code that's like what we want. And then we can use this throughout this whole character build to keep our consistent look for everything that we build. So here's Tamaris, and like in any good sorcerer, she likes to hang out with her wizard buddies. And here she's enjoying herself with a glass of wine. And as you can see, we're using a different image for the Omni Reference, and we changed some of the prompts out, but everything else in white is the same that we've always been using. But one challenge that we had with the last image was that it was an extreme close-up of Tamaris's face. What if we wanted more of a body shot? Hey, no problem. We're going to upload torso shots into the image reference section of our prompt window. And then we're also going to use a different Omni reference image of her smiling. And that's going to help us get to where we want to go. And you can see that this is the same prompt as last time, but now we've got a better image that we want that's more of her torso look rather than just her face. So here's on to more serious business. So here she is learning some magic spells and incantations. And just like previously, we're using that torso shot in the image reference area. And we're also using a different Omni reference for her face to get more of a serious look in the image. And again, we've changed some prompts out to make sure that we get exactly what we want for the background and what she's doing because she's reading a book. So that's how we do that. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but Tamaris likes to grow her own deadly herbs for her potions. And she's got that in her castle garden, right? And a lot of folks, she likes to tend her garden personally and has a green thumb. I guess that's what makes her a great sorceress. So here again, we're using the same reference images in the same way, but we just flip out and use different word prompts, and we can get a completely different look, which is her walking in the garden in the early morning sun. So here's some best practice tips for creating consistent characters in Midjourney 7. Build your best character first. Start with what you want as the basic ingredient, and then follow that up by creating a bank of images, probably several dozen. I create a whole bunch. And here's what I'll tell you is not all are going to be a perfect match. Some are going to have some quirks. You're not going to like them. That's okay. So switch in different expressions, poses, angles, lighting, or any other key details that you want to use, and you can build that into your library, and you're going to create that in your mood board for the character. Using this mood board, of course, trains Midjourney on the character, making it way easier to have consistent looks throughout the use of whatever you're doing. We want to use an Omni reference with the best shot for the face. So if you want her yelling, have the Omni reference of your character yelling. If you want her passive, maybe reading, have something that's more blank. If you want her angry, have something that's more angry looking. So this really allows you to keep your character in check and showing the emotion that you want just by using the right Omni reference. And then lastly, we want to iterate, curate, and edit whatever we do. Try things out, even if you don't think they're going to work. Use very subtle, use very strong, and then keep pushing these images. And let me tell you, your best results are going to come from not being afraid to see what happens if we do it this way. And I've done a ton of this stuff, and I always find great results with that. Hey, if you're a professional creative and want to learn more about how to use Midjourney for whatever you're doing, we've got a special community just for you. So hop on over to the Midjourney Experience Academy and learn with and from other creative professional peers just like you. We'd love to see you there. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you next time. Appreciate you.